Hey everybody, it's Saturday afternoon and welcome to Glenn's Kitchen. Tomorrow is Mother's Day and I want to wish all the mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day and hope your family treats you right. Today I'm going to be making cowboy cookies, and cowboy cookies are full of rolled oats, chocolate chip, toasted nuts, and flakes of coconuts. They really don't have much to do with what we think of the cowboys of the Wild West. They were originated in the 1950s. I'm going to read you some interesting facts on these cookies that I've pulled up. Um, Former First Lady, and just before I go on, this is not political, but former First Lady Laura Bush is credited with putting these delicious cookies on the map. They're now known as cowboy cookies, and her famous cookie recipe is almost as good as cookies themselves. But I'm going to be doing a different version of them, not exactly hers. But starting in 1992, Family Circle magazine orchestrated a political bake-off every presidential election year. It was a commonplace for presidential candidates to release family recipes during their campaign. It helped to humanize the candidates and also allows them to promote family values. But Family Circle decided to up the odds by publishing cookbook recipes from the wives of each candidate and asking readers to try to bake both of them and vote on their favorite. The results of the bake-off have interestingly always have been predicted of the winner and the president. Start over again. The results of the bake-off have interestingly almost always predicted the winner of the presidential election, save and a couple of outliers. In the first bake-off, 1992, Hillary Clinton's chocolate chip cookies beat out Barbara Bush's still delicious chocolate cookies. And again in 1996, Hillary's chocolate chip recipe won again over Elizabeth Dole's pecan roll cookies. But in 2000, Laura Bush debuted her governor's house cowboy cookies, and as expected, they beat out Tipper Gore's ginger snap recipe. Laura switched her recipes during her husband's presidential campaign in 2004 to a similar oatmeal chocolate chunk recipe, but it is her first cowboy cookie recipe that became famous. As with things in Texas, Laura's cowboy cookies are big and completely stuffed with many mix-ins: oats, coconuts, pecans, and of course chocolate chips. I hope they win you over too. Okay, I pulled the pecans out and they're nice and toasted. I'm going to leave the oven at 350 because that's where we're going to bake it at. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to get some of the wet ingredients together. I'm just going to grab my whisk. And what we want to do is we have the 12 tablespoons of melted butter, and it's cooled slightly. It's not hot anymore. Let's scrape that out. And just give that a stir here. Get all that incorporated. And I have here 1 and 1, well, hold on a second. 1 and 1/4 cups, yeah, that's it, of light brown sugar. So the best way to do brown sugar, I'm just going to move that out of the way. And I'm going to grab another knife. Most recipes call for it packed. So you kind of get it in here as much as you can, overfill it. And you really want to pack that down. And then just kind of scrape it off. But so that's the 1, and I'm going to throw that in there. And 1/4. Nope, I'm sorry, it's 1/2. Oh, almost screwed up on that one, right? These recipes that I have are small print, and my eyes aren't the same as they used to be. So we're scraping that in there. And I'm going to put that in the bowl. And we're going to put the brown sugar aside. The way I store my brown sugar is actually to keep it longer is I keep in this airtight container. But I have this disc in here that if I can get it out. This disc, it's a baking stone. And I just soak it, I put it in here. And then I cover it with plastic wrap and I put my cap on it. And it really keeps it a lot longer. It doesn't harden up as fast. Just a little trick. Okay. So let me move that aside and move this bowl back. So we have our brown sugar and butter in here. I'm just going to give that a stir and get the brown sugar coated with the butter and all the lumps out of here as much as I can. It'll go out as we continue to bake, but you can see there's a couple lumps in there. And what I'm going to add to this is 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. Get that incorporated real good. And I just got to put on right here. And now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Turn that oven on. Okay. Oh, these spoons are sticking in there. So we have my 1 teaspoon, and I'm going to add vanilla extract. And there we go. We'll give that a mix. Okay, I'm going to grab the dry ingredients that we put, and we're going to add these to it. Probably in 2 parts would be best. Just till we get this mixed in, the first part mixed in. Probably going to get rid of this whisk here and get a spoon because it's going to get thick. So let's get this wooden spoon out here and start. Yeah, this is a lot better than a whisk. Okay, so we can add the rest in there. And once we see all the flour incorporated, we know we're good. Okay. Okay, we're going to start with our dry ingredients, and that is 1 1/4 cups of flour. So I'm just got let me grab my 1 cup and my 1/4. There it is. All right. So we got the flour. I'm gonna dip it in here, and we're gonna get the 1 cup out. And 1/4 cup. We need 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And again, my little trick with these cans is I always leave this lid on like 3/4 of the way. And when I store it, I push this down and it kind of keeps it fresh. And it also gives me a nice level thing to put it on. So I need a 1/2 teaspoon and a 1/4 teaspoon. So I'll start off with the 1/2 teaspoon. And as I said, I dip it in there and I just rub it right along that ridge and I get flat. And let me get the 1/4 teaspoon out now. And there we go. So we have 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and I need a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And these 2 ingredients give it a lift, but they kind of work together most of the time to give them a lift. You usually see them in baking and they're together. So again, I need a half teaspoon of this. So that's the quarter. Let me get the half. Dip it in there. And again, I always keep my baking soda in an airtight jar. And then I need a half teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to do this over the sink so I don't get too much in there. Okay, half teaspoon of salt. And I can just grab my fork here. We're just going to give this a stir in here. Okay, we're just going to put that aside. Okay, right now I have in the oven, I turned my oven to 350, and I just put some pecans in there because we're going to use toasted pecans. And once I kind of smell the pecans, I'm going to turn it off and pull them out. And I also melted 12 tablespoons of butter. Okay, now we're going to add everything else, but we're going to get it all mixed up in a bowl here first. What I need is 1 1/4 cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. These are the ones I'm using. Don't use the instant oatmeal. Use this. Otherwise, you might not have the same texture. So here's 1/4 cup. And 1 cup. Okay. And I have the pecans. And I have this little chopper here I'm going to use today. Just because I don't feel like getting out my cutting board. But let's see how this works out. Just throw a couple on the bottom there. You want them chopped coarsely. That looks good. Okay. Put a couple more on here. Yep, just a little bit too much. Get that down. And throw them in there. Yep. Probably could have chopped a little more on those. Maybe break them up a couple pieces here. There we go. This probably should be better. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. As I said, if you don't have this kind of chopper, you just use your knife and chop it. And one more here to get us done. Like I said, these are been in the oven, so it kind of brings out the flavor when you toast them. All right, good. And now we need 1 cup of unsweetened coconut. And found this in the aisle with the baking goods. It's Baker's sweetened coconut. So I need 1 cup. I'm not a fan of coconut, but the recipe calls for it. But I have read other recipes where you can substitute Rice Krispies. Let me get some scissors here. So if you don't like coconut, you can use Rice Krispies, but I'm just going to follow the recipe today because they're really not for me anyway. So, and I said 1 cup, right? Yeah. So. There we go. Get 1 cup in there. Yeah, it's clumped together there. Yeah, that looks like 1 cup. Good. Okay. And I need 2/3 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Again, I'm using the Hershey's semi-sweet. And let me get my 2/3 measuring cup out. I'll get my scissors again. I hate these batters. I can never open them. And add 2/3 cup. Okay. So I'm going to give this a quick mix and get all these ingredients in here mixed together and get that coconut broken up a little bit. Okay, bring back the batter, and we're just going to add this right to that batter we created. And I think if my video is mistaken, I don't know what's going on with these videos, but it kind of put, when I merged it, it put the wet ingredients before the flour ingredients, but you got to do the flour ingredients first. The dry ingredients. So let me just mix all this together. I might have to get in here with my hands, but I'm trying not to, but we'll see. Yeah, this seems to be coming together. Not too bad. So you just keep turning and pressing, and eventually this will all come together. It is a sticky dough, so don't worry, it's not, it feels real sticky to you because it is. I think we're good here. Okay, I have my baking sheet here, and I lightly sprayed it with some Pam here, and just so it doesn't stick. And I also have a 1/4 cup measuring cup that I'm gonna spray in here because that's what we're gonna use to scoop the cookies out and put them in here. So just give it a light spray, and I'm just gonna get it all in here with this paper towel. And I have my batter here, and what I'm just gonna do is scoop 1/4 cup. And there we go. They come out nice and easy. And I'm probably just gonna put 2 or 3. I space them about 2 inches apart here, but you want room for them to spread out because they're really, you can see they're big, they're really gonna spread out here. So there we go. And there we go. And we're going to get these over to the oven. Okay, I'm over here by the oven, and I'm going to put these in the oven, 350 degrees, center rack in the oven. And we're going to go about 15 minutes, and I'm going to probably turn the pan about 8 to 10 minutes and keep it consistent so it's even on both sides. So in about 15 minutes, we'll be back, and we'll take these out. Okay, got about 5 seconds before these cookies come out, and we'll see what they look like. There we go, timer. Oh, wow. Yeah, they look good. So here they are. Let's just pick them up a little bit higher. I'm going to let them cool, and then I'm going to take them out of the pan. Not cool completely. Let me see how much it tells you to cool here. 5 minutes. So we're going to cool this for 5 minutes. And once the pan's cool, I'm going to get my next 8 on there, or 6 on there, whatever I can fit. And we'll take it from there. But these are what the cookies look like. Cowboy Cookies. Big Lake, Texas. If you have any questions, post them. I'll try to answer.